Alright, hello and welcome back to the final installment of Wyll solo honor mode, dishonor mode with 0 consumables. Like I said in the past episode, or the last episode, is that Wyll actually died in episode 14, I think it was, to Oren, which has been the protagonist for me, and also the place where I lost the last Wyll that went far. So now I decided to play it through because I do need to shelve this guy for the foreseeable future and try other things. But I am going to finish the game with that death on my consciousness, but still finish the game nonetheless. And today we're going to go for the Netherbrain, which, let's see. There we go. So we just defeated Raphael in the last episode, and that went well. That went very well without any problems. So please do check that out. And now, I think because Courthouse was pleased with the death of Oren, so now he's meeting us by the morphic pool, ready to fight the brain. And we do not need to disable steel watches. We do not need to do anything else. The personal quest Free Orpheus is still active, and it seems I need to speak with him in the camp. So obviously we'll be going to speak to our father in camp, and then proceed to meet Courthouse by the morphic pool.
First you cleave my heart in twain, now you shatter it to my own son. Still the she-devil's toy. Is this my fate? To be freed from... I know the truth. You turned your back on me, on your city, to chase the she-devil and her power. She stinks up the place even now.
Your head tingles. Memories flow through your mind, seeking escape.
There is always a choice.
There,
My tears wounds.
Ravengard sees Mizora and her infernal sisters.
No.
The past becomes present. Your father
And
sees
so
you partner with
Wyll's
Mizora
father
to
is...
Tiamat's cultists before they could lay siege to Baldur's Gate, and he sees everything beyond. The North.
Wyll, you
Yeah.
sold your soul
understands
to
now the
by the gods.
very problematic choices that Wyll has had to make, and
ever
now
forgive me?
is...
You are a better... My duty is first and foremost to the city and its people. There's something I must ask of you. Before I was captured, returning from Elturel, I discovered the plans of the Absolutists. I immediately... I didn't despair. Because the city has a secret guard. This is such a time.
If this is indeed
then, the city has faced countless
Ravengard telling me
set the path before you.
that I need to go and fight Ansor,
Baldur's Gate. A history.
I am probably going to tell him thank you, but no thank you. The one way. I do not intend to fight. Answer, even if this is part of the quest. I freed the father. I think that's enough. I mean, potentially that could be done. Probably it's a question of know-how how to do it. But in this playthrough, I will not be fighting Ansur. That is not part of the plan. We're going to confront the Elderbrain, and that's it. So I just need to make sure that I have all of the stuff that I need for this. The rapture is still active, so in principle, having the rapture could be beneficial. The Mind Sanctuary is currently ready. Potentially, I think the rapture is going to be removed. Nonetheless, yeah, I don't plan on bringing the rapture into the final fight. That is not part of the plan, so I'm going to take the rest and we'll see. Right. So let's see what is available here. The corpses are still here. So let's see if I can actually go and summon those. I'm actually not quite sure if I need to summon anything beforehand. I think actually I can just go in and see what happens here. We're just going to take the boat, the skiff.
Pristine darkness in every direction. Silence, but for the gentle, rhythmic
Right.
slap of water on rock.
So we sail away into the darkness here. To the last bit. So we are going to burn away the last inspiration point and the Dark One's Luck. Oh, the Dark One's Luck is actually irrelevant, but at least the inspirations to see if we can't hit those 5% in order to make the Netherbrain weaker in the final fight. It's not. I don't think it's necessary for success, but I think it definitely makes a difference. The strategy for the Netherbrain and the final fight is not that tight, but I think anything that helps is relevant. And also the allies, of course, very important, but for me at least, and once I get to the final Netherbrain fight, I think regardless of whether or not I'm able to shave off some of the hit points beforehand, I think it will be fine. Alright, let's go. And so the Netherbrain talks to me, and then there's some place here where you are assaulted. Let us just quickly fly to that location.
Preparing, calculating, evolving.
Alright.
Checking things out.
Dominate.
So there's a very hefty ambush here, and I'm not even sure that having extra minions is going to help much. I think I need to just do the buffs, the mage armor, of course. I could expend a spell slot. Actually, that should be fine. Expending a couple of spell slots doesn't seem to be a major problem at this point. So probably an earth elemental here. It's more the long rest resources that I don't want to use just yet. And if this is the case, I can also use the lightning Kareska here. So any short rest resources should be okay at this point. And then I want to check just one thing before I head into this. If I go here, is this going to trigger the fight? No. What if I go over here. Is that going to trigger the fight? Perception failed. So that should mean that I should be able to fly up here and trigger the fight probably. But nonetheless in a position where... Oh, I'm not in the fight. Initiative -1. Okie dokie. Yes, got it. The intellect gluttons are a bit of a surprise, I have to say, in this fight actually, and a bit of an annoying opponent. And interestingly enough, this seems like a bigger resource drain than you would expect from a bunch of random low-level thingies. Call of the week just coming in clutch there. But there are many small things if you are trying to do any sort of challenge where that you end up spending resources that you actually didn't plan on really spending. Like for instance this earth elemental is probably going to die. That's a spell slot. So right. I think that's the only fight that there is, and then of course loads of chests with various types of loot. Which for us is relatively irrelevant. And here we have Courthouse, who is just ready for the whole thing. It's like ready for it.
The brain is about to break free. We have no time to lose. We either shackle it by the force of our will and usher in a new age. Or you have survived shadows, defied gods, and overcome many. For that, you will have to be much, much stronger. I hope so.
I am ready. Let us go, Mr. Courthouse. So just before I head down, there is anything like gear-wise that I want. I mean, I could up my charisma. Think that there is. I think it's all of the checks, so there's no like I think I can get by with the charisma, and anyway it's still a clean 20 that you need to roll to effectively optimize on the last bit, so I don't think there's any advantage to there is just the RNG. Let's do it.
the Courthouse, chosen of Bane, command you.
It's close. Have the stones ready.
Dark Lord, how did it grow so large?
You think you know why you are here? You think that by allying with the last of the chosen and uniting the Netherstones, you can destroy me? You are wrong.
It's messing with your mind. Don't listen to it. Use the stones.
Right, so we're doing a couple of checks. If I remember correctly, these checks are not that possible to pass. I don't think we want to spend that one yet. So passing a DC 20 with plus 7 to something, this should be possible. And then we have to do another check. I'm going to click this through. We're going to add the Dark One's own luck to that check. Pass it. And then I think...
The crown is not my weakness. It is what made me what I am.
You are delusional. The crown is how we controlled you.
The delusions are all yours, Courthouse. You controlled me only for as long as I allowed you to. You have played your part. The next order to be given is mine, and it is this. Die.
Resist. You cannot let it do the same to you.
Oh, that's a pretty... Just going to fail the check. And then we get the chance to dominate the brain. And that is the check that I want to spend the inspiration points on. If it succeeds, it succeeds. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it does not matter. It's that 5% times a 4, which that was a fail. Alright. And then we're going to be picked up by the Emperor. And so at this point is, I think, one of the more important choices. I don't know if this is... I'm just going to mash 1 to get through the dialogue here. I'm not quite sure what the real difference here is in terms of how you choose to solve. Oh, it's a quest item. How is this a quest item? Oh, it's not. Just going to pick up his stuff, whatever. But you have to make a choice whether or not to, because the only person who can control the Netherbrain is an illithid, so somebody needs to take one for the team. And you can choose to do so yourself, but it has great consequences to your your stats and everything that you build your character around. And for that reason, I don't think it's very valuable. And the second thing is that if you choose to bring, I think, either the Emperor or Orpheus, you can bring the Emperor anyway, or whatever you choose to do. You can still be illithid, but without it, you still get the very powerful assets that any of these guys bring, no matter what you do. I'm going to free Orpheus. I'll talk to the Emperor.
You will give the stones to
And then I'm going to free Orpheus.
Now I ask you for the last time. After every... I had hoped you leave...
And then the Emperor leaves and joins with the Netherbrain. Which is not going to matter. Let's drop these items. And now I have the Triune Netherstone and I have Courthouse Nether. Fantastic. Courthouse hand. Drop item. Drop item. Alright, let's do this. Then we destroy the stones, keeping Orpheus bound. And here he is, the man. Well met, Your Majesty. This is also more or less, I think, a one mash.
At this point, it will take an elite. I will another kick.
There we go.
Go. The long.
And let us just proceed. So this is like, you know, straight to the chase. So we're going to pop out into the city here, and this is before we head into the city. I can basically do whatever to prepare. Probably not spending any resources before I absolutely have to is the way to go.
We have lost. This is the one.
And then we say hi to everyone.
I wouldn't.
The air is thick with anticipation. All eyes are on you.
Right. So currently in the coterie we have Misora, who's very valuable. We have Yurgia, who's exceedingly valuable. And then we have Dame Aelin, who's also powerful. We have the Nine Fingers Keens. We have the guild to help out. We have Volo, of course. Ravenguard helps out. Do we have anybody else? Oh yeah, we don't have the owlbear, which is fine. So the call for allies is now going to be Misora, Yurgia, Guildmaster Keen's assassins, Dame Aelin, and Floric's cohort. So a fair bit of relevant allies that I want to use in the fight. I am going to bypass some of the stuff out here, and the way that I'm going to do this, first of all, I'm going to get my coterie up and running. We do have all the spell slots. We have everything that we could ask for. Seems like we've been forced into some kind of long rest. We do have the Orphic favor, which is of course from Orpheus. That is of course very strong, so I'm very happy about that. But let us get the friends. Let's get the friends on the road. So we're going to summon Earth Elemental and the Conjure Us. And these good folks of the upper city still get to serve just a little bit longer. Just looking for corpses.
Sure, why
And then I strongly advise, once you get to this point, that you tap a little bit into the power that Orpheus brings to the table. So I'm hoping a little bit that these guys are going to be with us. Oh, there are more corpses here. Let's see. Okay, so Orpheus brings several things to the table. One of the things he brings to the table is an augmented shield of thralls. This is just insane. So this is 25 temporary hit points that he basically puts on everybody. Not on Wyll, because Wyll has a 30 temporary hit point buff from his father. So there's that. Go. I don't think there's anything else that I want to do. The Dance Macabre is for the final fight, so that's not going to be used. So now what's going to happen is that I'm going to go over here with my coterie all the way over here to this point. I'm going to leave them here, and my hope is that they're actually going to follow me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly up here. And now we're going to have a little bit of a fight here. I was actually a little bit surprised that these guys... Okay, they're really giving it to me. This count as a surprise? So those things were not really intended. I think I should be able to blast these guys down with just the one salvo. There we go. So he's upstairs. How do we go up there? Okay, that's the way. We shall be as one. We'll see about that. Going this way kind of bypasses. I mean, I think the general consensus is that using invisibility to bypass this entire fight is the way to go, because it's not really that hard, and it's just not very interesting either. But let's just quickly see what we can do. I mean, there are other ways to deal with this, but it's just not going to initiate the whole standard fight this way. I even forget what these guys do, but probably it's not that crazy. And this guy can basically just use his stun like every return. So is this going to put me in combat? Not really. Yes, it is. exaggeration. Anyway. Craziest thing is that Orpheus has 2 actions per turn in this form, so you can stun, and if you can also extract brain, you can basically just insta kill things. I don't want to be bothering. I mean, the idea is that these guys are going to be close enough so they'll follow us into the final area. Ultimately, we'll have to see how that works. Right now, it's just me and my boy Orpheus here. And then actually just basically just, you know, going across the wall here and straight into the action. So some of these, right, this situation is not ultra scary, but a little bit scary actually, because you still have to deal with the waves that are not very nice, and so we want to fly him in, but we don't want to fly him into the middle of one of these explosions, and potentially, because it's not in combat, that's exactly what's going to happen. So I think let's just quickly see what we're up against. One here, Intellect Devourer, Black Gauntlet of Bane, and the Invoker. The Invoker is the only ranged NPC, I think. I don't know if I can even... Yeah, I can hit that one from here. So let's just go and give the Invoker a whirl. There we go. The Invoker is dead. And then I think just actually ending the turn. Probably... Okay, not possible. So let's see. Phantasmal Killer. Forget if the psionic dominance is actually... I'm just going to backlash it. Okay. So here. Explosion comes. Don't want to be caught in those explosions right now. And then we want to send in Orpheus into the fight here. Initiative -20. Yeah, there is the Mind Flayer. Mind Flayers are always scary because they can do the stun thing, right? So let's see if we can actually fly to this location. I don't mind Orpheus taking on a little bit of responsibility in this very dire situation. So, but I wonder if I can stun the gauntlet and all of the friends. I don't think that I can. I'm going to fly here. We're able to stun some at least, and we have another action. I think probably the other action is the black hole here. And the black hole works. And then obviously, if we can at all, we want to kill the Mind Flayer and the Black Gauntlet here. Because staying inside of those explosion zones is... it's not a thing for Bing, let's put it that way. I think once I get through to the place where you climb the final brainstem to the brain, I think all of your minions will be summoned, if I remember correctly. And if not, well, then that's also a learning, I guess. That would mean a zombie less. That would mean losing the mummy. Yeah, that's all very annoying. But let's find out if that's how that works, because then that's a learning. Wyll is summoned at least. Okay, so all of the friends are not present. Obviously, I do need to check what happens if I try to bring some of the friends. Are they going to be facing like, yeah, a million of hostiles on the way? This is not possible, it seems. Just check what's going on by the brainstem. There are corpses to actually resummon some stuff, but I don't have any. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be using I'm assuming my armor of Agathis here. I'll be resummoning the Earth Elemental. And then that's it. And then adding the... Oh, wait. Where is it? Yeah, the short rest. I think the lightning still. Cheeky closet. Conjure us. Because this is the last time I get to choose anything in this regard. Fiendish resilience, I think, should be psychic. There's a bit of force damage as well from the crown. But I think the bulk of some of the dangerous damage is going to be... Yeah, that's, I guess, the magic missiles from the... are going to be force damage, but like, this is... I don't know if this is really that problematic. I thought that I used the temporary hit points. Oh, so before I lose those hit points, I'm not going to be able to get the armor of Agathis. I still have a short rest, so let me just try to see if I can't remove that. It's a lot of damage there, but it should be okay. Right. So let's try it again. Oh, there we go. Is there anything else I need to do for the short rest? Noobs, and these guys are effectively not part of the fight. It is what it is. Let me just get those last things in order. I want the dead shot. I want this set up because I definitely want the Knife of the Undermountain King for the final fight. The Gloves of Dex could be changed in the last moments before entering through to the brain. I think the Cloak of Protection probably is the best for saves. Bring these down. Forget if there's anything else that I want to consider. I don't think that there is. I'm going to be adding some radiant damage to some attacks, which is not that big of a deal. We have the haste spell from the subclass feature. Don't know that I need anything else really. I need to just quickly buff the volatile shields, which of course are free. So those will be going up. Those will be going up. There we go. And a quick save, just for the sake of it. So I think I will be casting my haste spell before going up, just to be sure that I can really get a handle on the fight very quickly. So I think that is the thing here. And then I think I'm actually ready, Eddie. There's no reason to not cast the mirror image if I'm doing a short rest anyway. Let's just go guns blazing. Right, so we're climbing.
The place where the nether stones can
And right. So now we are facing the first bit. Let's just quickly check for buffs. We have the haste spell currently not on. That was, I thought I hasted myself. I didn't. I do have a history with unfortunate haste situations. So there are, first of all, there are several ways to deal with the first bit of this combat. You have 4 turns until the Nautiloid arrives, and once the Nautiloid arrives, you're going to be harassed with additional intellect devourers, I think intellect gluttons, the improved intellect devourers, as well as the occasional mind flayer. It's, in other words, it's not the end of the world. And you can, I guess, handle this in a variety of ways, depending on what you choose to do in terms of the illithid that is going to control the brain. You get various outcomes. Choosing Orpheus as the sacrificial lamb will cause the emperor to go and join the Netherbrain in this fight, and it will also produce the Dream Guardian as an opponent. The Dream Guardian is, I think, kind of opposed to Wyll in a sense, has some kind of abilities that harass Wyll. I forget exactly what those are, but that's what that does. Oh, all of the friends are there. The mummy is there. Everybody's there. Everybody's in the fight. That's the good news. So that was all for nothing. But nonetheless, this is the situation. So on the honor mode, you do fight a red dragon, which is very scary. You fight the emperor, who is an illithid, and for that reason is very scary, very strong, and the Dream Guardian. You also fight the 4 illithid arcanists up here. They have a different. They all have a shield, a fire shield on them. Not very scary. But what is scary is that they all act as if they were level 10 evocation wizards. And that means, and probably more than that, right? They have an improved magic missile which shoots 6 bolts that deal between, I think, 5 and 9 or 10 damage each. And they just kill things off. So, and that happens the second that you get too close, probably along this line, they're going to be acting. But before that, they're going to stay there. So one strategy is to simply fight it out with the dragon, the emperor, and the dream guardian, whatever's down here. Fight that, kill it, basically, and then move forward. Another strategy is to try to brute force your way around the edge and go for very carefully go for one arcanist at a time. The arcanists are very nasty, they counterspell and stuff, so Wyll is going to have a hard time dealing with them on his own. And even with the emperor there, it's just not very optimal. So like, I want to deal with a thing in the middle first, and then after that I'm going to try to kind of see if I can't assault these very aggressively. But first off, the whole idea with the haste spell for Wyll was that I want to try and capitalize on the core 4th ally. So I am going to haste Wyll first off, yeah, regardless. And a couple of NPCs have their turn. Most importantly, the Orpheus has a turn, and so what Orpheus can do, and that can kind of play a part in what I choose to do, is he can go here with some of his movement and see if he cannot stun everybody here. Let's try this out. So the dragon is stunned, everybody's stunned. And that was kind of what I wanted to do. And that also makes me extract the brain here. And okay, going here is okay, but going over here is not okay. So if I can get the tentacle to spend its action, that would be very, 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 very good. Let's sacrifice the let's go in. Attack, and we move away, and then it's going to make its... Oh no, that wasn't enough. Enough. Do we have any other options for this? We do. But again, it's a problem of movement. But there we can just dash and go in, and I guess this counts as... Yes, and then we grab that attack there. And then we're grappled, and then Orpheus can get out of there. But I think he's going to try to extract the brain of the Emperor? Probably. The Emperor is the person... Let's just quickly see, because now I'm going to go into the range of something else. So that's not really helpful. Then we want to grab that as well. Let's see if we have enough movement. I think with a dash, probably. Yeah, let's grab the attack here as well. And now we're back in business. Let's extract the brain of the Emperor here. And I forget if this doesn't make any sense. I think we want to save the luck for slightly later. The 72 damage is pretty good. So let's fly back in. And he's already stunned, so not to worry. Now Wyll has his turn, and Wyll is going to be calling forth allies, and he's going to be calling forth... We're going to call forth the fixers, or I think Yorkia first. Yorkia is just... He's a good boy. Let's go. Right. So what's great about Yorkia is that he has the volatile clusters, which is like, it's bombs. So these things will set off, I think, after a couple of turns. And I think that's going to give the maximum effect. But what's going to give the pseudo maximum effect is actually him going and blowing them up. So let's try that. They actually do explode. Let's look at the numbers. The red dragon has immune to fire damage, but not to force damage. So even with the greater worm scales, 24 damage, right? So a lot of stuff, and now the Emperor's out. The Dream Guardian is out. Look, that was very painless. The dragon is still... Dragon is actually still stunned. Come Can we use the bonus action for anything meaningful? I think not. Can go and remove this guy. So there is going to be like, I don't know if this is not very important, this bit. We just don't want everybody to be aligned completely. So just spreading out a little bit and trying to deal with some of these tentacles is fine. But not too important. One thing I'm curious about is whether or not the tentacles can actually be created. If zombies can be created from these guys. Also, yeah, so the illithid arcanist at that point was already able to shoot the earth elemental from that point. And the damage? Open magic missile as well on who? On whom? On the mummy. So the psionic backlash obviously is the way to go. Just add a bit of damage on them. But the damage is just nothing to sneeze at. Let's look at the numbers. So it's 6 missiles, and the damage is between 7 and 9 at this point. So that's 6 times average, I don't know, 8. So 48 force damage per action, per turn. And then the brain is going to shoot, and it's going to bounce. And the Crown of Casters deals straight up 88 damage without any kind of save. It looks like, is there a save? I think there's a save, but not a save for the damage. The red dragon is still up. So the first thing to attack the red dragon is going to incur its wrath. But we're going to summon some more friends. So we're going to say hello to Misora, my absolute favorite. Hello, darling. And then probably we're just going to bring in the cohort, because the idea is that we want something to keep the Arcanist's company. Here we go. Cohort. And then probably I'm going to fly Wyll down here. And then I don't know if I wanna move him that far up towards the Arcanist just yet. I think we're going to wait just the one turn here. The mummy is now within the range, so that's not very. It's not a very attractive deal. Very good deal. There we go. Yorgia is still going to shoot his things. And now the dragon is burning, and I'm a little bit uncertain what that does to the dragon. Where is the dragon? How does it burn without being able to take fire damage? Interesting. Right, so if I attack the dragon with Yorgia, am I going to have action on Orpheus? That's not very optimal. I think I'm going to attempt another round of stun here. Probably there will be another tentacle. There it is. Let's go with the stun. What's going on here? This is the Dream Guardian. The Dream Guardian is still in the running here. So let's give this a little bit of an extract brain here. 76 damage. Not too shabby. But this is a bit of an annoying thing. Let's see if we can make that go away. Seems very, very effective, the grapple. So I'm wondering if the Emperor is going to, or the Orpheus is going to be in a bit of a problem here. That was a little bit too brave. Also, these things are going to be exploding. Okay, I'm going to just quickly move Orpheus over here. And then the bombs. I think I'm in a safe spot here. Let's try to have Yurgir go in there a little bit here. Lots of damage, also a bit to the brain, and I think Orpheus is now free again. I just don't know how far he can actually move. Looks a little bit like he's going to take a bit of a pounding. Maybe we just bring forth Yurgir. Is that going to make any sense? Hopefully that wasn't too... Okay, so we do have the Earth Elemental. The Earth Elemental is going to be able to sacrifice itself quite a bit. It's going to... I think I need to sacrifice this guy this turn. Hopefully the Alchemists are going to be interested in that. Let's just cross our fingers there. No idea who he's targeting. Oh, but we can counterspell this with Misora. Look, there she is. So we're going to counterspell, I think, answer advantage. Even though it's just the one counterspell, it's enough, I think. And yeah, they do wanna nail those friends. Yurgir gets a burning. Okay, so we're still in the game. Let's see. So there's haste, and Misora can do various things like freedom of movement, for instance, which is a level 4 spell slot. Don't think that's going to matter that much, but she can disintegrate the dragon. So probably haste on herself, I think. And then we just don't want to do it right here because that's going to cause a lot of damage on Yurgir. So not quite yet for that. So let's fly to... Or maybe even better... Okay, this is maybe going a little bit offensive at it. But I think... Is this just one spell slot? Seems a little bit incredible if this is the case. Not within reach. So if I cast a quicken spell, that's the wrong one. Extended, heightened, distant. That's the one. So a distant spell, I might get a shot at some of these guys, which I think I want. They're just, I mean, the magic missiles are just so nasty that any help think is valuable. Oh, and the haste breaks. Oh well. She did participate. And then she shoots. And does she shoot? She shoots. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. What is the status on Mizora? She's grappled. She's at half HP. Well, okay. So Wyll now should be able to imprintable to... He cannot go all the way to the Arcanist here, so probably... So at the beginning of this fight, this is not that important. Let's just summon the lady. And move up a little bit. I'm just going to risk it a little bit for the biscuit. I forget exactly how long range these guys have. We can go and drain that turn. Trying to kill the mummy. I think they're going to be very happy to try and get that down. So at this point, probably Yorgia benefits. The way that I benefit the most with Yorgia is to try and harass some of these. How come I'm triggering? I think he'll survive this. Go ahead and do your worst. Whoa, was that enough to get him down? Did Yorgia go down from that? Oh, he's just prone. Oh well, I can help him up with... Oh, I can choose to stun, which I think I will. Let's proceed with stun here. Either that or actually going to very aggressively for the Arcanists now, I think. That might be a stronger... Oh, we gotta kill the dragon. Okay, I'm stunning him. Extract. To Yorgia. Sorry, I'm going. Oh, it gets its action still. That's annoying. Let's just dominate that action. The attack from the Netherbrain acts a little bit like a sort of a chain lightning. It needs things to connect. So if you don't connect it with anything, you are not in trouble. So at this point, I do have the Keen's fixes. Want to see what these guys do. So let's summon them. There's two of them, and if I cast a spell, I will be counterspelled immediately, so that's not very... It's not very appealing. So I'm just going to bring as much as I can. So that's not very interesting. What can I really do, right? I can't really do a lot at this point. So I probably just want to call forth another ally, which is the healing. So this guy is still stunned, or is this... no, not stunned. Oh, that's because, yeah, the action. I don't have a lot of movement, so healing anybody with this is not something that makes a whole lot of sense. So I'll be shooting just to show the counter spell here. I do get a psionic backlash, which is fine. The Dream Guardian takes damage. What was that? Fire Breath and Fist Defender, hit Fist Defender, Fist Attacker, Dominated Brain, Fist... Yeah, okay, so that was just a Fire Breath. So let's see if we cannot get yet another stun in. Yorkia is now dead. Okay, it's over. That's too bad. He really gives it. He really gives it all. Like he's great in this context. So I'll take the Fire Breath probably and see if I cannot go and harass these guys. I do want to kill all of them if I can before I proceed to go into the brain. And I'm in that situation where it seems a little bit like Orpheus and Wyll are currently not within the same initiative order, which means that in principle what's going to happen is that Orpheus is going to enter the brain without Wyll. So I do need to kind of figure out if I can change that in any way. I'm a little bit curious how that's going to work, because not having both of them within the brain in the same round is not a particular great thing. So now I want to make sure that Will's Will's haste has run out before we go into any kind of shenanigans. I can't move her out of here. I would have loved to, because she can actually cast the... I don't even know if the freedom of movement is going to change anything. But let's get out of here. Let's move her to another location. Could potentially have hasted her prior. I think that would have been better. Let's move her out of here. She can quicken spell, so she can actually rehaste herself, giving her an extra action and casting. We do have enough time, so I'm just going to cast freedom of movement on Wyll here to begin with. since the haste, or since the time for the Nautiloid is not like a hard time to when you can effectively when you need to effectively go into the brain, I feel pretty safe that even if there is some problems with the initiative, I need to find out what in the world is going on with this, because that effectively means that Orpheus will be on his turn after Wyll, and thus Wyll will have to wait a full turn before he can get into the brain, which sucks a lot. That's like a big problem, I feel. Like so maybe I can buff some of the perilous stakes before we enter the I'll probably try that out and see what happens. Alright, so if I want to attack the brain now, it's going to counter on me. Maybe I just want that to happen, really. It's just a bit of fire breath, right? Not really. Let's blast it. Wasn't that bad. Let's blast it a little more. He just arrived by parachute or something immediately there in the fight. Ready to go. I think I'm just going to prep the Netherbrain fight following this. Why is the chance so low currently for this? This is just an attack roll. Not quite sure. Let's head back. There we go. Dame Aelin. This would be a little bit epic for her if she gets to kill the dragon. Dragon Slayer. Bardic Inspiration. Ooh. So once you head into once you do the thing with the crown, you lose all of your allies, and basically the only people who go in there is whoever's illithid and the companions. So I'm still not out of the initiative order with the rest of the party, which is like a major issue. I feel like I'm going to lose a turn inside the brain. So I don't quite know how I'm going to deal with that. Let's see. What did we get? We got a mind flare all the way down there. Okay, I'm not too worried about that guy just yet. So I'm going to go over here and finish off, I think, the remaining mind flare here. Then I don't know, maybe... Where is Orpheus? Orpheus is here. Maybe just heal Orpheus, really. Is that... Boing. Okay, that was kind of explosive. Okay. Right, let us just see what happens here and at the end. So at this point, no sense in I mean, I do need to cancel his haste. So that actually does, because I cannot cancel. Can I cancel the haste straight up? Oh, I can. Okay, so now the haste is gone. I need the haste to be gone. That's very important in the final fight. And where is the mind flare? There it is. And so, like in principle, it's just time. I'm going to gauge here with the brain or the crown. I hope that losing one turn is not going to ruin it for me. So every turn now, reinforcements will arrive and stuff will happen, basically. And then, is he still lethargic? This is the lethargic turn, or what? Or is Wyll is now ready on the following turn? But I'm assuming that, yeah, regardless, he's up. He should be brought into the brain if that's how that works. But I'm assuming that he won't be. But I'll have to check. Oh, well, rather. Oh, what happened? Oh, stuff is going on. That was. Now he's going in there. He's in the brain, and Wyll is not in the brain. So selecting the Emperor, I'm at a bit of a loss. But now I think that was the situation that I was kind of dreading a little bit. That. It seems like I'm losing a full turn now because I cannot effectively use the... Probably I should have perilous stakes Wyll a little bit before going in, but I cannot use the Mind Sanctuary because I need Wyll to optimize for it. I basically have to go down and attempt a bit of psychic damage, I think, for this turn. I think that's all there is to do currently. Cannot use the force damage, has to be psychic damage only. So that means going down here. This is just part of it. There's really nothing I can do about it at this point. So don't know if I can target the Netherbrain. That works at all. Just saves. And that's it for my turn. Then probably I should have concentrated blasted. So that's just one full turn that you lose for not being in the same initiative. Something similar happened I need just a moment of AFK time. 1 second. Okie dokie. We are back. Let us see if we can finish this once and for all. But losing a full turn is pretty rough. Hoping that I get like two full turns of Eldritch Blasting. That will be probably be absolutely necessary. But let's see what happens here. I'm a little bit uncertain how the Perilous Stakes work. I think. Okay. Wyll is ready. So let's see, where is the Emperor? Of course, it's over there. So I'm going to fly. I think that, let me just see. I can hit it from here. But now the question is, how far can the Emperor go? I think we'll... Let's see if it has any kind of... It has the Aegis of the Absolute, but it doesn't say anything about being resistant to any specific kind of spell here. But I am going to fly down here. I think we're going to go to this platform. The idea is that it's going to use up all of my movement, but that's not a major issue. We're going to use the Mind Sanctuary of Wyll first. So we're both going to get an advantage from that, and then we're going to go with Orpheus, and we're going to stack the Perilous Strikes, I think, on Wyll. Once. And I think twice. It even goes in there a third time. Okay, so 3 stacks, and it says... It says 3 turns. So let's try and see what that does to the damage here. Hopefully. So it does. Fails the saving throw, deals psychic damage, which I have resistance to. So that's... Oh, it doesn't resist it. Okay, fair enough. So it's 10d6. It's potentially 60 damage. Ah, mind broken. No idea. Slowed. No idea what that means, but we do still have the extra attack here. So, and this, do I still have? I still have my Perilous Stakes. Okay, then. Okay, well, if it works, it works. We're going to stay in here because it doesn't look like these platforms are going to be destroyed. Orpheus also not. It should be resistant to lightning because I should be dealing lightning with that. Let's see what happens. Okay, so within the Mind Sanctuary still has the actions, but we need to leave and hopefully we can go to a place without being, you know, thrown into the nothingness here. So force immunity, lightning immunity, but not psychic damage immunity. So these spells will be worthless. Cold spells is a definite possibility, but are we close enough to effectively use anything? I think not. And also this doesn't work. I don't think that works. I am going to summon these guys. First of all. And they're in the initiative order, and they're going to deal damage to him when they die, so that's the idea. Probably Flame Strike is the thing here. It's going to deal damage, and then he takes damage, and then we try to fly away. And so we're going to go to this location. In my experience, it's going to take away my movement once I end the turn there. And everything else. Is there anything else I want to do? No, probably not. Probably not. We can. No, we cannot even move. This is psychic damage, and we can potentially. We cannot do this turn. So none of this stuff that we can do is going to make a difference. So we're going to end the turn here. And now he's up, still psychic and force damage immunity. We can attempt this. I have no idea what element it is. It saves, so who cares? And then, yeah, that's practically it, I think. And then we're going to go to Wyll. And then we don't need to do anything else, I think, this turn. We're just going to end the turn here. We can cast the shield for the lulls. And then this is psychic damage, so this is not going to matter. We're going to end the turn now. I could have perilous stakes. Staked Wyll, I guess. So let's see what happens over here. So in principle, the ghouls there, are they already did explode? Or they already exploded for whatever reason? Yeah, they exploded and dealt damage for whatever reason. Okay, so now the important bit is I need to kill it this turn. So let's see. Doesn't have any resistance to the force damage, so it should just work. So if I add a Mind Sanctuary to this location, and more perilous stakes just because. That should enable Wyll to kill the Netherbrain. It does. And there we go. I think even without the perilous stakes, the approximately 90 damage per turn times 2, 180 damage times 3 equals 500 something damage. So regardless of whether or not you have the perilous stakes to help you out, the Eldritch Blaster is going to pull through on the damage. The damage windows are simply going to be strong enough. And the psychic damage that you get to add in between on the off phases also help out. It's a little bit annoying that you cannot use the Chain Lightning because the effect is already on your normal attacks, and that makes him immune to it because the Chain Lightning obviously is a lot weaker than the Eldritch Blast. But there we have it. This is a bit of a dismembered ending, I feel like, for my run. But I think the key thing here for me is that the game is more than doable without using any consumables in combat. Even with a relatively strict rule set. The most important bits, at least this is obviously a situation where Wyll he has a lot of summons. That makes a huge difference. He's able to dodge out of a lot of the stuff. The illithid powers, I think, are probably a bigger sinner, basically, like a bigger culprit, I would say, than the consumables, in a sense. Because, for example, the Call of the Week is going to carry very, very hard in the early mid-game to mid-game, and a lot of the illithid powers are just incredible. Like, the ability to fly everywhere is insane, and it's just so good, the partial Ceremorphosis. I think if you consider this challenge with other classes and other subsets of various other subclasses rather, I think some are going to have a much harder time at it than others. For instance, characters with no AoE, for instance, run into the issue of how to deal with a lot of enemies. So that's something where if you have a scroll or two, that's going to solve your problem in some cases. But what if you are dealing with a character that has a lower damage potential? How's that going to affect your results? I think that's going to do a lot. Like, it's not without reason that the Gloomstalker Assassin is one of the more popular classes in the game, outside of the whole stealth archer theme, because piercing damage in this game is incredible. So if you add, for instance, the armor from the Ballist armor, the one that creates vulnerability to piercing damage, that's going to make, and with dragon slaying arrows and whatnot, it's going to make your character deal 300-400 damage each turn. And then you of course you add the haste potions and whatnot. So I mean, you very quickly get into a situation where your character is so strong that it's not the same game anymore. I think the warlock probably is one of the stronger candidates to do this. The blade lock is incredible with piercing damage and the special weapons. The Eldritch Blasting Warlock, I feel, solves a lot of the issues early game in a very, very healthy way. The way that I built the Warlock using Warcaster, even though it's a very shitty feat considered to other things, considering that you can get the same effect with the elixir, which I forget the name of. Those things are relevant, but the Warcaster feat is just so good when it comes to keeping that haste concentration, which carries, I think, 2/3 of my entire game here. But outside of that, even if you consider like various restrictions you can put on the game, in my opinion, all that consumables really do for you, of course it build enables depending on what you're doing, but let's just take Wyll for instance. All it does for you is allow you to make more mistakes. So I managed to do this. I didn't manage to do this because I did die at Orin, right? But if you just neglect that little fact, which is a big deal, the biggest difference for me that the healing potions, for instance, that's probably the biggest thing would have done for me. It would have reduced the amount of attempts it would take me to get past the first act. So the amount of times I had to restart the game because I didn't allow myself to drink healing potions is insane. Like, I don't know, like, let's say 45 of the attempts at least. Could it be shaved off, bringing me to maybe 15 attempts or something else. Like, it would have made a world of difference having those potions. And we're not talking about like the worst culprits, like the Bloodlust Elixir, for instance, effectively makes the Eldritch Blaster Wyll 50% stronger, if that even does it. Enabling extra attacks every time you kill something, add that to the rest is absurd. But speed potions, whatnot, all that jazz. all adds up to a very, very insane power level for one single character.
What I did to save my people. The rest is up to them. Someone else must rise within the ranks to lead the revolution.
But obviously,
against Vlad.
itemization,
My freedom from this
consumables, illithid powers, all those things
while I still
in this game synergizes to potential crazy heights. I wonder if you can fail this save or this check.
You are right.
I get the feeling that you cannot.
I may not be the one to lead my people, but I can still bear witness to their glory. I shall find a place for myself in a corner of these realms. For even in darkness, the stars of Tunarath will shine upon me. You were a worthy ally.
With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city, smoldering, waiting to be rebuilt.
Another thing, though, that is that kind of is one of the, in my opinion, oh, this looks a little bit like the plague and the driving, the dead away. This, oh, this is so sad.
There will be no illithid empire, no death god's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
But with the monoclass, so single specialty character, if you without consumables or anything else, if you think about what options you have available, it's going to be a very stale set of abilities to your disposal. For Wyll, I mean, I was using Flame Firewall quite a bit. I was using Fireball in a period of the game. I was using the Flame Strike occasionally. I don't remember if I had the counterspell at the end, but I was using like a variety of skills and also Cone of Cold, obviously, throughout the game on special occasions to solve things. But 90% of the time, if that even covers that, it was an Eldritch Blasting game. So I don't know that is going to change much if you go into, for instance, the Blade Warlock. Probably you're going to be stabbing a lot more, and when you get your final Eldritch Invocation, Life Drinker, with the ballast armor and whatnot, you're going to be stabbing things in melee with your piercing weapons. I don't think it's going to be much different. I mean, you have the versatility a bit more, that you can do several things. But I don't know that it's. I think it's still going to be relatively. It's going to be relatively. It's going to be the same thing, more or less. What in the world is Wyll wearing?
A survivor, you face down the gods.
What the hell is he wearing?
Thwarted the grand design.
Is it like an apron?
Seems possible. But before you can write the next chapter of your story, you must end this one. That's why you're going back to where all of this began, answering an invitation from a familiar friend.
it's a little bit weird for me that the final encounter with the Netherbrain is just one big gimmick. I mean, even if you're not in a situation where you need to piggyback off of the perilous stakes from your illithid companion, I mean, it's still just a gimmick. Like, either you have the damage or you don't, and I mean, you should have the damage, otherwise you did something wrong. You made some kind of bad choice along the way, probably. But like, it's not something where you need to think about what you need to do. You just need to switch between your attacks and then go. It's not a very fascinating final fight. When you think about the other fights that you have at the end there, that are just very, very hard, then this is very, very gimmicky. So this is like, what is he wearing? He's wearing hot pants. What? What's... How's this? I am a little bit uncertain about this.
There's something strange in your old friend.
I forget if you actually need to go and talk to anybody, or if this just ends. I think Withers is the guy who ends it, and there's one of the.
This thou art the savior of what indeed? Prick up thy. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another.
So he's speaking to the crowd,
Rest,
but not a lot of people showed up.
ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving.
To the greatest friends I could dream of. Wyll has no friends.
To you.
So it feels a little bit like either Withers is maybe slightly yeah, and then it ends.
There thou art, the dead three. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou soughtst to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools, everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel, felled by mortals. I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.
Probably that's one of the gimmicks of the game, that they want to kind of remove Bale particularly from the order of things, as he was probably, I think, wasn't he the main, I think he was the main villain in a way in one of the other Baldur's Gate games, with Sarah Vargas being the final boss, but Bale really being the culprit. This concludes my Wyll adventure. It concludes my Wyll adventure for the foreseeable future. I didn't kill all of the bosses, but I killed a lot of the hard bosses in Act 3, and I really hope that anybody who decided to watch this could gain something from it. At least the strategic decisions that I make in this playthrough is intended to be focusing on trying to work with the bosses and using the boss mechanics as much as possible, as few glitches as possible, as little abuse as possible, if any. That's the general intention. Can you play the game? Can you defeat the game with the origin characters, for instance, solo, monoclass, with the tools that the characters have available to them, in conjunction with, obviously at this point, illithid powers and the gear set available, but without the consumables? Is that a possibility? The answer, of course, is yes, but is it doable for all classes? We'll have to find out. So probably I'll be playing another origin character soonish. Right now, the general project, with the time that I have available, is to work on a series of guides for the various bosses, explaining the bosses, and going for the bosses with various classes. That is the next big project. But I'll also probably be working a bit with my duo stream with Ginger Bananas, hopefully trying to see if we cannot get Team Rocket to finish, even if James already blasted off unintentionally in the Gauntlet of Shar. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you later.